So second. So the first topic is Angular architectures, Angular framework. What is the Angular framework? Second point is Angular component and templates, building blocks. Third pointing is data binding. Fourth point is directives. Okay, and the architecture and the components, template, data binding, directives, so on. Okay, now I'm going to the main topic. So first, architectures. What is the basically architecture? So the architecture is basically a Angular framework. It is based on core concepts like components, like templates with dialog, data binding, and directives, modules, services, and dependency injections. So the core of the Angular framework architecture is Angular component. Angular component is a building blocks of every Angular application. Every Angular application is made up one more Angular components, and it is basically a plain JavaScript class along with the HTML template and associated. So components that renders for the templates other components, and it has also style sheet. Suppose style sheet, like we are using template using the style sheet for the layout design, and component is using for the uh, uh, other component is uses through the directives. And components, what is the components will render actually on the templates. So what is the component? The core of the Angular framework architecture is Angular component. Angular component is a building blocks of every component application. Every Angular application is made up the one more components that already defined in descriptions. So the HTML template can access the data from its corresponding JavaScript TypeScript class. Component HTML template may include other component using its selectors value, the name basically. As I will show you what is the selectors actually. This is one more point. The Angular component may have an optional CSS style associated, like Sass, CSS, different styles. Okay. So now we are going to first I will tell you the description, then I will go with the example each by one by one. Okay. So next point is component and templates. So basically components and templates are a building blocks Angular application. Again, as I told you, the components, what is the components, and template, it is the integral part of the Angular component is template. It is used to generate the HTML content. Templates are plain HTML with associated additional functionalities. Okay, so now the thing is, there are different things inside this, but now let's move for the next point. So data binding. What is the basically data binding? Data binding, you deal with how long the binding your data from the component to HTML DOM elements. We can easily interact with application without worrying about how to insert your data. We can make connection in two different ways, one-way binding and two-way binding. And now the last one is directives. Generally directive is the TypeScript functions, where this function execute Angular compilers checked it inside the DOM element. An Angular directive begin with ng hyphen, where ng stands for Angular and extends HTML tags with directive decorator. There are three types of directives: attribute directives, structural directives, and component directives. Okay, so let's go. And thank you if you like this. If you like this video, please like and subscribe this channel if you are new. Okay, so now I'm going to see. Previously I was told you like how to run the application, all the setups. Now we are going to begin the application, and one by one let's see. Suppose I'm going to tell you the basically building blocks, how it works. Okay, so here we have app components, and now in app components we have like HTML things. So now we are not going to do anything here. I will just show you. Just put up the part here, title. Suppose we have a title, and this title value, this title variable contains the path to. Now move to the next point, how we want to, how we can show it title. So we are going to here and using the banana box. It's another calls interpolation. So save this and run here. First I need to run it. Done. I was saying here we are using the interpolation, and we are going to save this localhost 4200, and let's see if it is running. No, it's not running. So I need to run here ng serve. Okay, and if you have already other application that consuming the port 4200, you can define here ng serve hyphen port and port number. Okay, so let's see when it will, how much it will take time. So now it's running successfully. And one more thing I want to tell you, if you you want to this code, I will post it on GitHub and you can download. So you can see here the part 2, and now we achieve two things. First, how we can show the data in the components, and second, here the one-way binding. Okay, now move to the next point. Suppose we want to use basically like how to use two-way data binding. So we will use suppose first, what was the first, it's architectures and the template components and data binding. So we need to data binding first, then I will move to the directives. So let's see, we need to create the components. So how we can create the components? Simply we need to create a duplicate command here, or you can use the here. First you need to install the extension Angular files. So you need to install these Angular files, then you can easily create the components here. Otherwise you can use the command ng generate component and component name. So I'm going to generate a component here. So here the component. So we are going to click a right click and generate component, and the component, suppose we are creating the test. Here you have a test component, you have the files. So when we create a components, we need to define here in app.module.ts file, in app component you need to define here. But now when you generate component, it automatically import here. Okay, so not need to define manually, it automatically, if it is not exist here, we need to add. Okay, now let's move to the next. control G0. I think G0 is working. Let's see. Let's run here. Okay. So it is running. No, it is not. Now, what we want to going to open here, and now in the class we are going to define an app name equals to my first Angular application has 8. Okay, now we are going to use this in my first Angular application by using interpolation. So here in double curly brace you just put the variable here. So, and if you want to use this component, so what you need to do, you need to define in the app component just like this. You can use a component. So basically it is a part of directives, but I will tell you after this. So what you app hyphen test, sorry, app, you can see here, this is the component and this is your app root component. So you can use this component like this. It is called a structural it's called component based directives. Okay, now if it is successfully run, you can see here my first and Angular application. Okay, so this is the basically directive things where not directive, but we are also included the directive inside this. So you can see the things like the form, one-way binding we also seen here, and now we are going to, this is the one-way binding basically. Now we are going to see how the two-way binding works. Okay, now just we are going to create a button here. Suppose event binding we are going to use, so I'm going to write here h2 and now event binding button click equals to show the data. So data function we are calling here, in which we are passing the event. Okay, now we are setting up a click value here. Now it's showing run because we don't have this. So what we need to do, we need to define a method here. Now going to function in which we have an event, a dollar ev event type any. Now we have this. Now we are going to console the log. Console log button is clicked. Now if event console.log event.target, event.target. So now let's run this application, and I think already it's running because the command it's running now. Open the console to see the log here. What will be the output in console? Click button is clicked, and we have a basically event dot target where we are logging for the console, and there is no value. Okay, the output this. Now we are going to see basically simple by another things. Suppose we have a second button, and here we are not passing the event, we are just using the prefix. This is the basically alternative, so we are using the prefix which is already defined. Okay, so here we are using on click equals to show data. Now let's see, it's two button, one is not working, one is working, one is not working. So it should be work basically. Click, why it's not working? Click, oh shit, we need to define here the things basically. Now let's compile failed because the show data function is not like this event that contains the event basically. So one argument, and it's optional, it should be optional. Why it's not working? It should work actually. Now why it is not working? Anyway, I will see it and I will told you guys why it is not working. For now, remove this, but it should be time based. Now add an input box, input type text, and the value is value equals to username. And now we are going to define a name. So we have to define the name here in test like this. We have a username, and the type will be string, and equal suppose int. Okay, now you can see here error will be solved. Okay, let's see in the app. We have username, right? And how I will achieve the two-way binding here? So how we can use this for suppose we want to click uh, in the input box, and the value will be reflect. Okay, so but before this we are working on the directive, so we will, let's see the directive will work and how the css will work here. I will show you this. Now suppose we have this, and we have a html tag like td, and we have td that contains attr dot call span equal to column span. And now you can write the things here. So basically this is the example of that. So what you have to do, I'm going to show you how it will work. So suppose we have a td and we are going to use the class here. Okay, and now we are using here class my classes. Okay, and here we are putting some value, but now not now. So this is the variable basically we are going to define here. Equals to red, and one more I will define the apply css class is false. I will take it as a boolean. Now in the we have a test file, we are going to here and define, we have a class equal to my css class, and this is paragraph class comes from my class property. Okay, so and the other things, class dot blue and now what we are doing here, we are doing the apply css class, and we are putting here this paragraph class does not apply, this paragraph class does not apply, because we are not applying here the class. And what we need to do, we need to go in the css with the red, and color will be red. Now second, blue, color will be blue. Okay, so let's see if it is working. So you can see here, this is the paragraph class comes from my class property, so the class is applied here, but here we there is no class applied. Okay, now we can set the suppose we have a color and we can set it dynamically. How we can set, we need to go in the components file, and we can define here the my color equals to brown. Okay, and Now in the paragraph, okay, suppose we have a paragraph. Here we using the style, style style dot color, okay, and equals to, we are passing the my color. Replace the text here, text color page styled using style binding. So this is the basically style binding. Now what we need to do, we need to go with this and let's see what happening inside the, you can see the color is brown, okay. So basically this is the scenario where we have different things. Now we are going for the two-way binding. So what we are going to do, we are using the two-way binding. Here we have a paragraph, sorry, we have an input and input value username. Now we are going to do this inside the G model. But yes. Now we have a username here, okay, and we need to why it's showing error. Input type text, ng model equal to, we can see here, test template, username, type event is not assigned to type string. What it means? Not assigned. Okay, got it. We need to add in the imports fields here the forms module, then it will work, because it is two-way binding can be achieved by the form modules. Now we can see here there is no, suppose we have a hello and we want to use here our value username. So let's see the magic. Vipin, hello Vipin Kumar Pandey. You can see the reflection is here while typing in the input box. Okay, so this is the things where we are achieving the two-way binding. Okay, now I'm going to end this video because it's very long. So what I will do in the next part, we will learn it in the depth. Okay, so thanks for watching guys, and please subscribe my YouTube channel and join the Telegram channel if you have any questions, and I will put the Telegram channel inside the description box. So please uh, like support me, and there is no charge for this session, or while you are going to ask me some questions, there will be no charge, everything is free. I want to just explore my knowledge, and also explore my knowledge to everyone who wants to work in programmings, and they can explore, they can use my knowledge in their jobs. Okay, thank you guys, thank you so much, bye bye, and take care please.